Today we're going to make a chicken salad using some grapes, some pecans, French tarragon, a little bit of mayo, Dijon mustard, salt and pepper, and we're going to be serving it inside this tomato. This is a great way to not get bored with your chicken salad. Find different ways that you can eat it. Now, you also could serve it inside an avocado if you like, or you could omit the mayonnaise and just mix the chicken salad with your avocado. Now, my avocado's not quite ripe, so we're going to use the mayonnaise today. But another time we may try it with the avocado and show you how that works. We'll be back in just a minute with the first step, which is to get our grapes and our tomato washed up. Go ahead and get our grapes good and washed up. Remember, people touch these and handle these, and in the stores, it always kind of freaks me out a little bit, so I like to give them a little extra rinse. You can place them on our little paper towel on our dish mat to dry. Now let's go ahead and get our tomato washed up. We'll place that on our dish towel to dry right along with our grapes. The first step in the process is we're going to want to go ahead and get some of our ingredients into that chicken salad. So let's go ahead and get the celery cut and the grapes cut. So we're going to want to do that. We'll show you that in just a minute, and then get those put into the chicken salad. One of the things I want to mention is you notice how easy it was to go ahead and make chicken salad because I didn't have to start from scratch with everything. My celery was already pre-cut, pre-washed. All I had to do was chop it. So if at the beginning of the week you go ahead and do some of these things and just prep them, then you can go ahead and then have them ready when you want to use them later in the week. So it's a time saver for you. No sense in pulling out celery 2 or 3 times when you could just pull it out once, cut it, get it ready, put it in a baggie, keep it in the fridge, pull it out. Even if it's not in the exact shape you want, it took me just like seconds to go ahead and get that in there. Next up, we're going to get our grapes prepared. We've already washed them and dried them, so we're going to go ahead and cut them down. By the way, reminds me, when you buy grapes, wash them all at once. Put them in the fridge. You're more likely to eat them if, in fact, you have them cleaned and ready to go. I went ahead and quartered my grapes here so that they are going to be in the size of a bite. So let's go ahead and get those added right into our bowl. I used a variety of green and red because I had both. You could just use one or the other. Just make sure they don't have seeds in them. Next up is these nuts, and you noticed I've placed them into a plastic bag. And the reason I do is that we don't want to put them into our chicken salad whole. We're going to want to crush them up. Now you can crush them up any way that you see fit. I find it easy just to take a jar that I already have out and just use the edge of the jar. Give them each a little bit of a tap. Or if you had a wine bottle like this, you could simply just roll them over, crush them up with the wine bottle. See how that works nicely? Make sure you have this on a nice soft surface if you're going to be banging that wine bottle around. They're hardy, but you don't want to put it directly on your granite countertop. All right, I don't want to crush them too fine. I still want some chunks of pecan in there. You could also substitute walnuts if you wanted. But see how these kind of broke up very nicely? I'm going to be able to add these into my chicken salad. If you really want to bring out the flavor in these nuts, you could drop them in a fry pan with just a little bit of butter. That's certainly going to add calories. So we're going to just put it in just like this since we're already using the mayonnaise today. But again, it's just an option if you'd like to do so. Let's go ahead and get the pecans added into our chicken salad. As you can see, it's already looking very tasty, isn't it? Next, we're going to go ahead and get our mayonnaise in there. You could use Greek yogurt as well. I added about 3 tablespoons for what I believe to be almost a cup of chicken. Next, let's add a little squirt of Dijon mustard to give it some tang. Now let's go ahead and get some tarragon into this. I like to use about a half a tablespoon of tarragon. I like the taste of tarragon. If you don't like this much, by all means, reduce it down to a teaspoonful. This is entirely subjective. We've also added some salt and some pepper, and we'll put a little bit more in at the very end to taste. Now all that's left to do is to mix this up and get our tomato prepared. Now that we've got that all mixed up, we're just going to set it aside for a few minutes. And now we need to go ahead and work with our tomato. So what we need to do is we need to open up the tomato with our knife. We're going to go ahead and we're going to slice off the top. And then we're going to come in and around and core the tomato out and scoop it with a spoon. Or we could even use our little measuring spoon, whichever's going to work easiest. We'll give it a try. So here you can see we just took off the top layer of that tomato and we just carefully cut around the rim. Don't go all the way to the bottom, just go down far enough. Now to make it easier to scoop out, I'm actually going to come in and cut this way and this way, just releasing and removing some of that meat from the tomato. Depending on the ripeness of the tomato, you might want to do it again, like how you'd cut a pizza. Then very easily, gently, come around and cut into the sides, just a little bit of the inside, releasing it so that you'll be able to pull it out with a spoon. So you can see here, I've gotten a lot of that already out. And we're just going to discard these pieces. We're not going to be using those parts of the tomato. What we do want to do is we want to make sure we get all that liquid out of there and scoop it just a little bit better so we can get our chicken salad placed inside. So holding the tomato, just easily take your spoon around the edges and just grip some of that meat. Be careful not to cut through the skin. Now what I will do, now that we have all this tomato scooped out, is I will salt the tomato and then I'm going to turn it upside down and then we're going to just let it sit for a few minutes just to make sure we get all that excess moisture out of there. So I want to show you, look how much extra moisture came out of that tomato just after a few minutes. So that's the reason why we go ahead and we do that. All right, let's go ahead and get this plated, shall we? What we're going to want to do is we're going to want to use a spoon to fill this up, but we're going to want to go ahead and just fill this tomato with our chicken salad. And here you have it, our stuffed tomato made of chicken salad with tarragon, grapes, and pecans. What a great way not to be bored with your everyday lunch of chicken salad. You might have been thinking, wow, that was a lot of trouble to go through with that tomato, Jan. But if you make this chicken salad up once, you could eat it one day on a wrap, eat it the next day on just lettuce, and then the third day have it on your tomato. And you've eaten the same thing 3 days in a row, which will taste completely different. Enjoy.